atomic batteries up to full. What? Quantum field engaged. The event of all probabilities are now probable. Let's do this, Pika. Welcome, Klaatu Varata Niktu. Oh no, you have raised the army of the dead. More pop culture references that an average person can handle per square minute. That's an actual measurement of space-time, I think. How art thou today? Let's put this back in the gun rack there. You know, straighten you out too. There we go. There you go. They're waggling. That's a deep Battlestar Galactica reference for anyone out there. Hi, how are you? Welcome back once again. It is time for the Comics Coffee Table, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern daily, where we get together on our coffee break and we shoot the breeze about our hobby, recreating comic book shop style conversations. Any time of day. You can be here for the 3 p.m. premiere and U.S. Eastern Daily, and there's always a hop-in live chat full of great cats, or continue the conversation in the comment section. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on those notifications. It really helps the channel out. Thank you so very much, and yeah, this is a show about the love of comic books, and I've been a lifelong comic book fan. I grew up in the 70s and 80s where we had a spinner rack and a newsstand, and that also quickly included the direct market, aka the local comic book shop, the LCS. That's right. I love my local comic book shops, and I'm blessed and grateful because I'm in the Boston area. Pre-recorded before a live studio audience of our stuffed animals, my stuffed animals from our Boston studios. I guess the new thing really blocks out the studio audience in a way. Hopefully you can catch his grin over my shoulder. Canadian Bear, the studio audience, Drinka, the union cameraman, boom mic operator, and set designer, and as always, my executive producer, Pikachu, who writes the copious amount of show notes that I, the talent, read. That's it. That's the show. That's all we got. I mean, we don't have that. We don't have this. We got show notes. We stick to the show notes. Make a list, cross things off, and it's, what is today, Pika? We're doing some crisis boxing. Yeah, I'm a little tired. It's just all the... Sometimes comic book culture brings me down. And if it becomes a negative distraction, then I have to eliminate it. I've done it before. Probability supposes that it'll happen again. It's a matter of when, right? Let's see. I don't know. It's just being a comic book fan ain't what it used to be. I don't agree with people that say politics need to be in everything. Or ideology, rather, more than politics. And objecting to the lopsidedness of it makes you a pariah. And that's not just for comic books, too. Dude, okay, one of my most heartbreaking of the Twitter blocks, I shouldn't even take it so seriously. It's just social media. It's just in theory. It's just I'm a thoughtful person. And so maybe this hurts my feelings. Maybe I'm blocked on Twitter by Star Trek on P+, which is and it's been that way since the CBS All Access days. Because I said, I agree with Red Letter Media, who kind of trashed Picard season 1, but not in a vulgar or profane way, not in a humiliating way, more of just a snarky way. Yes. Was there salt? Was there snark? Yes. But when did a brand name become so oversensitive to snark and salt? I understand actual toxic and abusive behavior. It's out there. It's the internet. Randos and anonymous accounts, and bots perhaps. Now, whatever that means, however that happens. I'm grateful for you all. You're not bots, you're people. It's nice to see you all out there. But yeah, how am I supposed to spend money on Paramount Plus? And it's kind of like every time I see the Paramount Plus logo, it's on a lot of stuff. It's been heavily advertised. They got the they got the new Frasier show. They got new episodes of South Park. They definitely have things I would like to maybe take a chance on. Am I going to take a chance on a Paramount product? That would make me feel like a sucker. It really would. Star Trek at Paramount Plus judged me, a lifelong Star Trek fan, of being like not worthy enough to follow that the block was just it sends a signal that how am I supposed to spend money with them? Really? Yeah. Oh well. I don't know. But yeah, that's where my mind went. Yeah. So it's not just comic books. It's also, they're just other things too. Just better days. Let's talk about better stuff. Let's talk about local businesses. The American dream. Owning your own business. Being your own boss. It's a lot of work. I mean, I've never done it myself, but I'm a chef. I'm an ordained minister. I'm a spiritual guy, but I'm also a professional line cook. And I've been in the service industry for over 30 years. And I've worked for my fair share of restaurants. Why do I have the Hard Rock Cafe pin? I worked there for 8 years, from 1992 until 2000. Heck, someone even made a comment on the, like, hey, is that you? Is that Sully from the Hard Rock? The guy who used to say that, he used to, to manscape because he said it's an optical illusion, less hair, more dinky. And I'm like, yep, that's me. Own that one. That was a funny joke, too. And, wow, hey, look, a 20-year-old Sully reference. Gosh, I think that's funny. I don't even know who that person was. Like, it was a screen name. But, that happened, yeah. But, I worked there for 8 years, the Boston Hard Rock Cafe. That was a great experience. I was learning a lot about my trade. There's a lot to learn in hospitality. Indeed. Should we talk more about the compact comics? Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, where we started talking about that at the end of the show yesterday. DC is unveiling compact comics, manga-sized editions of all-star stories that target brand new audiences. I'm reading this from Screen Rant, of whom I have blocked on Twitter. I've blocked them. That was a personal decision. And because a lot of their headlines are fan-tagonistic, to antagonize a fan of a certain fan base. I don't want that in my life. And also, lots of people in my community retweet Screen Rant. And so in order to get rid of the Screen Rant in my timeline, I have to curate my timeline. Like, sorry, Screen Rant, you got to go. It's like you end up in my timeline. You know what I mean? I don't know how I ended up in Donnie Cates' timeline. I ended up on a watch list. A list. Ain't that cool? And I also made the bold decision that when these come out, they're starting to go on sale in June of 2024. They're called DC Compact Comics, are collections of self-contained story-sized 5.5 by 8.5 books. So they're tankobon, manga-sized, and focused entirely on self-contained stories, and it's geared towards adult readers. But then it says the line is new reader friendly and will be shelved by genre instead of among the other graphic novels, organized by genres such as fantasy, thriller, science fiction, I think Batman's under mystery. Readers will be able to find the DC Compact Comics next to their favorite novels in bookstores and libraries. The initial line, each priced at $9.99, will feature the following books: Watchmen by Alan Moore and David Gibbons, Batman, the Court of Owls, Snyder and Capullo, great run, great comics, All-Star Superman by Morrison and Quitely, Green Lantern Far Sector by Jesmison and Campbell, Wonder Woman Earth 1 by Grant Morrison and Yannick Paquette. So, Wonder Woman Earth 1, that's going to be the comic we buy for the show, because I wanted to see how this he handled Wonder Woman. I love Golden Age Wonder Woman, 1940 to 1948. It was, there's something very pure-hearted about it, and very well intended, and very well educated, and very nuanced too. I think I could talk about Golden Age. I need to read more Golden Age Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman Earth 1, this is like now the whole of Wonder Woman, including silver, bronze, and maybe even like copper to current ages. Remember, Copper Age Wonder Woman was George Perez's Wonder Woman, post-Crisis, and who knows Crisis better than me, Grant Morrison. American Vampire Book 1 by Scott Snyder and Raphael Albuquerque. Sure. Batman Hush by Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee. Joker by Azzarello and Lee Bermejo. And that one was like really weird. I think that's the one where, let's see. That is the one where, I think that's where, let me look at that, has been the Joker has been mysteriously released from Arkham Asylum, and now he's none too happy to see what his it's this isn't the one when he wakes up the next day and his someone sewed his mouth shut and put his mouth on the back of his neck. I thought that was that one. Help me out here in the chat. If you know what I'm talking about, set me straight. Use the comment section too. But still, okay, then we got Harley Quinn and the Gotham City Sirens by Paul Dini, which you're getting probably the most authentic voice of Harley Quinn would be through Paul Dini's writing. Now, over the past 32 years, Harley has grown naturally, organically, into her own part of the fandom. And with girls, too. Especially if you're a cosplayer. There's nothing, more awesome than the spectrum of Harley Quinns that you see when you go to con. And Darwin Cook and Ed Brubaker's Catwoman, Trail of the Catwoman. Because Darwin Cook's got such a style that it's like, just how is it going to work? Are they shrinking these pages down? How's the lettering going to look? And I just really think it's, these are abysmally bad titles to adapt into a new format. Most of them. I would make why can't this be like more? It's new reader friendly, but it's not made for general audiences. I would not give Watchmen to a 13-year-old kid. I read Watchmen off the shelf at 13. I shouldn't have been reading Watchmen. It was a different time. I was saturated in rated R movies up to then too, so it's like, I don't know. I just like today. It's 20. We're not talking about 1986. We're talking about 2004, 2005. Would I kick over my copy? Would I buy this? Suggest this copy of Watchmen to a young reader? I think that's rated. I think that's not a general audience book. That's very, very, Plus, it's a jaded kind of book, too. I'm not saying that Alan Moore's jaded. I'm not offering about... Listen, Alan Moore's got so much better shit than Watchmen. I mean, 1963 on Image is one of them. Maybe one day we'll get that annual. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something for modern comics? Like, maybe just say the end of the... If we think that comics are dying, and this is the end of superhero comics as we know it, with all this modernity and shit. I mean, wouldn't now be the time for Alan Moore to write 1963, the annual? Think about that. I believe in that. He also did Tom Strong, Top 10. Just these amazing comic books that, are very far from the writer he was when he did Marvel Man, Miracle Man, and Watchmen. And he also did, Swamp Thing around there too. And this is also the same guy that did Lost Girls. Remember, we memory hold Lost Girls. I mean, this is Alan Moore. And yes, this is a good book. And it's a good comic book. I think that the Tankobon size, though, that's a mixed signal of anything, and these should be more general audience oriented. I'm asking, hopefully, maybe there will be some, like, round 2 of these. They can really, if it's successful and they continue it, I'm thinking, like, I want to see Super Sons. I'm pretty ignorant on Super Sons, and it's pretty expensive for the big books. If I can get an affordable Super Sons, and be able to kick that over to a young person, and would be like, here's not Batman Hush. It's great, but that's for the lapsed Batman fan. 20 years ago, I was a lapsed Batman fan. 20 years ago, 30 years old, going to comic book shops on Wednesdays and picking up on Batman when I haven't read Batman in years, literally. I mean, we're 20 years removed from Hush. It's great. And it's much better in a bigger format where you can really relish that beautiful Jim Lee, Scott Williams art. I mean, I just don't think it's... I don't think Hush is new reader friendly. I think that's lapsed fan friendly. With a 20-year-old context. But yeah, this is from an article from Screen Rant written by Kate O'Donoghue from O'Sullivan, Sláinte. Cheers from our coffee table. Thank you for your words describing more of this. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that a little bit more. And should have been doing this the entire time instead of leaning on my elbow. Pikachu. You don't need to be a stern taskmaster like Henry Higgins. But let's see, yeah. Which was the what was the Joker that he woke up with his Joker face on back of neck? No, not a tattoo. It was a literal... It was a literal thing that happened. Joker's mouth on the back. No, it's comics. Oh. Oh, hush. I think maybe Joker should go away for a while. Yeah, like I was saying yesterday, I think Mark Waid should be not just the editor-in-chief of DC Comics, of the DC Universe superhero comics, but give him and Dan Moore a Batman. Give us a Batman with a... Give me a Batmobile that looks like a nice toy. Give me I mean, maybe put him in that world's finest bat suit. Maybe just tell Batman from a years ago perspective with Dick Grayson Robin. And can we just, and I don't know, it's not about retelling bronze, silver, copper age stories. Or just give me Batman and Robin. Give me Batman and Tim Drake. I want Robin in red. I like Damian, but geez, can't we give him his own character? Could he be Black Robin? Like, or let's call him Corvo. Corvo? That means the crow. Like the bird of death or something, Corvo. I never read Super Sons. I would read Super Sons in that format, and then kick it over to just be like, hey, kick this over to your kid. I mean, like, this is fun, and it's a comic book. It doesn't need batteries. It's a different kind of screen time. Sometimes you find an artist that you love. Has it been like that the entire time? It's like George Perez in Crisis on Infinite Earths, and if I knew him beforehand from New Teen Titans, but I was young. Like, I really didn't. It's just like I wasn't paying attention to the names of the writers and the artists. That was all kind of like superfluous for me between the ages of 8 and 18. I mean, who's then there was I knew who Frank Miller was after Batman, and then I'm doing Daredevil, so he was obviously, and then it was Chris Claremont, and then there was Howard Chaykin, and but when it comes to bullpen people, things didn't start making, clicking into place pretty much, middle school. Yeah, I was 15 or so. So, but then you find yourself looking at something such as the insane level of line work and detail in George Perez's Crisis on Infinite Earths. And you have the ability to linger on this image. I'm sure you could do that too, and you have the ability to zoom. But I don't know. Maybe it's because I am a 20th century person. I'm a 20th century boy living in the 21st century. So I grew up, we didn't think we were getting touchscreens. We didn't know that was going to happen. And people who grew up with them, well, they grew up with them. It's the bloody toaster to them. The internet is as ubiquitous to young people as the toaster, and television is to us. I mean, to wonder what the next generation will have. What will be the next radio? What will be the next cinema? What will be the next funny book? But all of these media, all of this media has their Batman and their Superman and their Captain Marvel and their Wonder Woman, you know? I think the funny books will remain in some kind of way. Static image art. But the sequential panels. So I think that on some level that will endure. Yep, we've got supplies, we've got bags, we've got bags within bags within bags. We've got acid-free boards. We've got snugs. We've got supplies. I get all of these supplies at my local comic book shop, and I make the choice to buy them there too because they're brick and mortar mom and pop shops. You know, they're local businesses. They are independent bookstores. So hopefully I can buy my digest size DC at an independent bookstore. But I'm just thinking, like, where is Super Sons? Why? Who made the choice not to put Super Sons in this? That's a bit more general audience. And, I mean, wow. I hear that the animated version's pretty good, too. Written by Jeremy Adams, the current scribe of The Flash. I can lift up things again. This is my Crisis Longbox. It served its purpose. It protected the funny books from an exploded homebrew in a summer swelter about a decade ago. Its corners are blown out. It is my DC Crisis. These are all DC comic books. It curates a part of DC Comics called the Crisis. Crisis infers multiverse. It pretty much invented multiverse in a way. That's my hot take, my humble opinion. Now there's probably going to be pushback and being like, "Oh no, well this happened first." Well, and you know, and well, sure. Well, then bring it up. Let me know what you think. Contribute to this comic book shop style conversation. It's not about being proved wrong. It's about, oh no, actually, this happened. You know, in the 50s. You know, and I'm here for that conversation, as we all are, I guess. So let's start by pulling recently boarded and boxed stuff. Okay, let's pull out all the Infinite Crisis stuff. And yeah. But then you have things. Okay, I've just pulled out all the Infinite Crisis stuff without prequel stuff, with the exception of I don't have the oh, there they are. Let's see, I got Villains United. Come on, Gail Simone wrote Villains United. A lot of people in my side of the sphere give Gail Simone a lot of crap, but also Gail Simone pushes when she is pushed. Sometimes she pushes back, and yeah, Villains United. Gail Simone and Dale Eaglesham art. This was great. So this was a countdown until the Infinite Crisis. And there was Days of Vengeance, the OMAC Project, and then there was like the Rant Thanagar War, which I was not buying. And that had Alan Scott, his daughter Jenny Lynn Hayden, Green Lantern Kyle Rayner, Hawk World, and Adam Strange. And it was like very cosmic, dealing from the repercussions of Superboy Prime literally moving planets out of their orbits to realign some cosmic balance for Alex Luthor of Earth 3's plan. Yeah. That's what, should these get boards and new bags? I mean, just like and this Villains United led into a new Sinister Six series, which was pretty darn good, I think. And the Days of Vengeance stuff, Bill Willingham. And by the end, it's like I'm only buying Villains United. You can see right there, I dazed off on OMAC, and I dazed off on Days of Vengeance too, Day of Vengeance, and the one prequel of Infinite Crisis I stuck with was Villains United, yeah. We're going to get to that last box, too, which is full of mostly DC stuff. So we'll actually see how much Secret Six we have and how much Gale, Greg Rucka doing OMAC with Jesus Saez. But I got this one. This is Wonder Woman 219. And this is where she kills Maxwell Lord. So what do I do with this? I'm breaking up the Infinite Crisis. Should I sell my Infinite Crisis? I got a good Infinite Crisis edit. Should I be selling this as like a complete package with this? A bridge between crises. And this began some kind of new crisis era. Because we have we had 3 crises in the 2010s. No, in the 2000s. In the aughts. We have Identity Crisis. Then it goes into Infinite Crisis. And only 2 years after Infinite Crisis in 2006, in 2008, 2009, we have Final Crisis by Grant Morrison. And then we have Blackest Night, which is 2010, which was part of my Crisis Longbox because it was part of this huge edit because it was a Crisis level story. See, I'm missing like later stuff too. It's like, what should be in this Crisis Longbox edit? I should have death metal. I should have metal and death metal in here. It actually kind of ends around metal. Like I have a couple of those, the foil variant covers, the Forge and the Whoozy Watsy. I don't even see, is it right here? No, that's Sea Guy. Sea Guy, what are you doing in the Crisis Longbox? I got a couple of random issues of Doom. I got Doomsday Clocks numbers 1 and 2 in here. And the only one that matters is like the last issue, which is, I think, even on my spinner rack alongside of my copy of Watchmen, as we're talking about Watchmen a lot. It's not that I like Watchmen. I like Watchmen a lot. I literally grew up reading Watchmen. So yeah, we've already bagged boarded. So what do we do with them now? Remember, this is the first appearance of Jaime Reyes. At a 9.2 would be worth $10. Oh, it's delicious George Perez art. This was a comic book. Speaking of Rant Thanagar War, then it got a one-shot. I got this, and I got a couple of issues of Teen Titans and an issue of JSA Classified that I got from my friend Pops with this amazing Amanda Connor Power Girl cover. I love Power Girl. That's going nowhere. I'm keeping that. 3. But these are in some kind of order too, of reading order. I mean, seriously, I have curated this. These are all in the proper order that they should be read, spoiling nothing. It's because you had tie-in issues that month. This happens between issues 4 and 5. This one, 9.2, is worth $35. First appearance of Jaime Reyes in the Blue Beetle armor. Sometimes key issues like this happen. Is it an issue? Is it an issue 1? No. Is it issue number 847 with a variant cover? Better chance, of something like that happening, But it's an issue 5 in an event. We got the same team. We got Eaglesham and Gail Simone. Villains United, which was interesting. Look, it's an Infinite Crisis crossover. It's Jeff Johns and Marv Wolfman, Ed Bennis, Dale Eaglesham, jamming on this. Why does that matter? What's up with Wonder Girl and Superboy? You'll find out. This is important. This is really important, and we talk about we talk about who's gay in DC Comics a lot, and were there. I really feel like you had a gay Superman. You had one under your nose this entire time. This comes from 2006. I think it's written by Jeff Johns. Drawn by Jerry Ordway. And we have Alex Luthor from Earth 3, who's a being of a matter of antimatter. And then we have Superboy, the Superboy of Earth Prime. And look at that wonderful Jerry Ordway art. And that is the Earth 2 Golden Age Superman. That's the Earth 2 Golden Age Lois Lane. And they have to live in some kind of paradise dimension outside of space time, outside of DC multiverse time. And they can see through the skies and the walls of their creation what's going on and what's happened in the past. And it starts setting up things that Luthor is kind of just like pulling Superboy Prime's strings. To the point where this point, here it is. The crux of everything. Everything that's smuggled in that back, all the line work in the backgrounds, all these multiple copies and these fractured shards of the character over time in this multiverse. I mean, and look, and there's the Jason Todd of Hush. Like, in that, this is what caused all the problems in the multiverse. The Superboy Prime punches. And let's see. Because they're growing up together. And they have no one but each other, in a way. And they're best friends. And also co-conspirators. They're willing to reboot the universe in order to make themselves happy. And they're saying that we can, like, if I share my power with you to get back to that yellow sun. And look, he starts taking his clothes off. And shares his essence with Superboy. I think there's some fucking coding going on there. Seriously. I mean, I'm okay with saying that. Like, you wanted some legit gay characters in DC Comics. Well, I give you Superboy Prime. Or Alex Luthor of Earth 3. Bring him back. Make them a power couple. So yeah. You going in the Z-Box. If this is true. Oh. Here we go. Alonzi. I need to pick up a few more short boxes, and then we're gonna smash this thing. But I'm gonna keep that together. Yeah, I do have the Infinite Crisis hardcover because there is a dialogue change. And there is a couple of art changes too that were done after the floppies. So I think it's good to have for the comparison. And I got it on sale too. I mean, so it's okay. So do I have a reader copy? When was the last time I read this? Okay, you go with the rest. With your pals and with your Infinitely Crises. Maybe 52. Maybe the weeklies should get their own. Because I'm quite impressed with those. I mean, geez, I stuck with it. Those were literally Wednesdays. We'll get that tomorrow. And thank you so very much for tuning in. It's the Comics Coffee Table, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Daily. Grab yourself a cuppa. It's freshly brewed coffee. Pull up a chair. Let's enjoy our coffee break and talk about comic books and our hobby just for a few minutes in our day. Some legitimate, down-to-earth, or up in the space, or in the multiverse, or in the dimensions, wherever our fantasy takes us. And our escapism as well. Huzzah! Congratulations to all of us. Cheers. God bless. Namaste. Good luck. And we will see you again in those funny pages. Ciao. Bye-bye.